Oh my. Hello, welcome back. Well, today I'm covering a monster that I have to say is difficult to pronounce. Brobdingnagian. And the number of times I'm going to have to say Brobdingnagian is probably going to mean I'm going to have a slip up today. I can just see it now. I've been practicing. But anyway, for those of you who are here for monster lore, we're going to be covering monster lore. And of course, we'll be doing some monster building because that's what we do here on this channel. But of course, there'll be a presentation first. I'm going to put up a poll. Thank you for showing up, Fred Hubber. If you can only stay a little while, I totally understand. You've got to get along with all the other things that you have to do in your world. No problems, okay? Life continues. So grab some food, some drink. Make sure you're comfortable. We're about to jump into the world of the Brobdingnagian. And for those of you who are looking for information on the Brobdingnagian, you'll probably find there's not a lot of information because its original source is a little unexpected. In any case, that doesn't matter. Let's cover this topic, shall we? All right. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about role-playing games, specifically monsters. Brobdingnagian. That's right. It's a monster, apparently. And yes, it is from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. But it's also from a different source. Much to my surprise, it came from a different source in the past. But we'll get to that. The Brobdingnagian is a monster that is compatible for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It is part of Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. And the Brobdingnagian could be confused for a massive earth elemental. It has skin that is stony textured, with rocks clinging to it in clusters. So it kind of looks like an earth elemental, but it's not. It's a Brobdingnagian. The Brobdingnagian eats rocks as its primary source of food, and under the Brobdingnagian's rocky surface, it is actually a creature of flesh and blood. Due to its tremendous size, many refer to the Brobdingnagian as a living mountain. Brobdingnagians are some of the strongest creatures in existence, rivaling ancient dragons and demon lords. Despite their enormous size and their rugged appearance, Brobdingnagians are actually civilized. The Brobdingnagian have a particular fondness for poetry, spending decades memorizing different verses. Brobdingnagian hate magic and advanced technology, and they prefer a simple, naturalistic lifestyle. Above all else, Brobdingnagians love to sleep, and they slumber inside mountains for great spans of time. Now, there is an individual called Meliaf, I believe it is Meliaf, the daughter of one of the great stone kings, or stone giant kings, and she actually joined with the god of battle, giving birth to the first Brobdingnagian. And this is how the Brobdingnagian came about in the first place. The coupling of the Methel, the daughter of the same giant king, and the god of battle. Now, the culture of the Brobdingnagian detest war and greed and corruption. Surprisingly, the Brobdingnagian have a very strong sense of ethics. Their titanic body, the Brobdingnagian, are capable of throwing rocks as large as a horse at something, and they can throw more than one if they need to. Sensing vibrations in the earth or using a form of tremor sense, the Brobdingnagian have the ability that has developed over time to detect things at great distance through the ground. In fact, it's quite sensitive and it has a long range. Now, the word Brobdingnagian actually comes from Gulliver's Travels novel. The novel Gulliver's Travel, written by Jonathan Swift. And I imagine this is where Esper's originally taken his ideas from for the Brobdingnagian. Now, I hope this was useful to you, and I want to say a huge thank you to Esper the Bard, who provided me with some of the artwork for this, and also a lot of the material from his own book, both physically and digitally. I want to thank the patrons who support this channel. I want to thank you in particular for watching and listening to me. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Very, very short today. Brobdingnagian. I hate to say it, Brobdingnagian is actually there's not a lot of information on the Brobdingnagian. So hence a very short presentation for today. So what I'm going to do is, I can see people already taking part in the poll. I will grab my dice. If you don't have percentile dice, you will need dice today. We'll be rolling percentile dice, and we'll be rolling 20-sided dice and 6-sided dice to create a monster. We've done this before. It's part of the workshop section of this live stream. Also too, Esper has actually asked that I show you the contents of the book on this monster. So that's the first thing we're going to do, and then we're going to go straight into making the monster. Okay, so let's do that. Pardon me, people. I've got a bit of gas today. A bit more than usual. Anyway, let's see. Oh, can I move my head? My face, my head. I am kind of in the way, so let's just move myself to the other side. And if I can zoom this in, I will. Yeah, I will zoom this in a little bit more, just to make it a little bit larger so you can see more of the book and less of my face. How's that sound? Here we go. So this is from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, provided by Esper himself. And as it looks like an earth elemental or a giant or a stone giant, doesn't it? And the lore behind it and sort of what it does is listed below. He does include a stat block, so you can use it as a creature in a battle. If you wanted to have a combat with it, it's possible. A lot of the material I've presented to you today I haven't necessarily taken everything that Esper's got here. I haven't changed anything. I have only added to what he already had. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering, hang on, I've got this book. I don't remember all those things you were mentioning in your video presentation, Fred. It's because it's artistic license. I've added a little bit more, okay, but I haven't taken anything away. The stat block for the creature, basically, this thing has an armor class of 19, 231 hit points. Its speed is actually quite slow. It's only 20 feet, even though it's a gargantuan giant. Okay, so it's quite large, but it moves quite slow. High strength at 29, and then of course its con is 22, and dex is very low. You can see it has tremor sense up to 120 feet, which is what I was I was kind of pointing you in that direction, right? It understands the language of the giants, and it's a challenge rating 18. It has legendary resistance because it is a legendary creature. It has titanic force, so bludgeoning damage. Basically, it operates a little bit like a siege creature. Okay. So bludgeoning damage dealt by the Brobdingnagian bypasses all resistances and immunities. So good luck, barbarians, those of you who have resistance to bludgeoning damage. Next, multi-attack. It's got a slam, it throws rocks, and you have rock slide. If you want to sling a whole bunch of rocks at somebody, this is what this is all about. This is like an area effect. And then, of course, you have your legendary actions, Titanic Stride, so you can move a bit faster. You have your Strike, which costs 2 actions, where you make a slam or you throw a rock. And then you pin under the rocks is 2 actions as well. And that's basically, you're dumping rocks on somebody. You're dumping rocks on somebody. That's basically what it's trying to do. So I thought I'd at least go over this because Esper has asked that I do that. And so I am doing that today. We are going to go into building a creature in a second. But before we do that, I need to ensure that I know which creature we're making before we do that. So let's go back to my face. I'll get my phone set up and we'll see what you have selected as our choice. Should be an interesting process. Brogies. Yeah, exactly. We can call it the brogies. So far we have 50% terrain, 50% land. So that means I need somebody to break that vote. I need somebody to vote something else to break that vote up. Okay, so while I get organized, hopefully somebody will do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to make a decision and I'm going to roll a dice and do it randomly and we'll see which one we get. Let's see. Let's go here. I don't want that. That's not what I wanted. I want my channel. Okay, press this button here. The phone layout for YouTube has changed on mobile, and it's a pain. I'm going to say it right now. I do not like it. It is annoying. Okay. So first things first, let me get a six-sided dice since we're a stalemate currently. I'm waiting for somebody to roll, but we're going to let me get this. Let me just type this in. Roll. Now, how many is it? I cannot remember. Is it 1, 2? No, it will be 3 or 4, depending on land and marine, land or subterranean. Okay, so let's roll for the, since nobody's breaking this tie. Land will be 1 to 3 on my six-sided dice. Subterranean will be 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Rolling the dice now. So I got a 6. So it looks like today we'll be doing a subterranean creature. Yep. So roll percentile dice. Percentile. Oopsie daisies. Percentile dice for a subterranean and a monster. Body, head, believe it'll be head, body, and limbs. There we go. That's what we're asking for. If nobody rolls, then I will roll them myself. We have tables to do all of this, so yes. So jumping over to there, I'll press that button and we should be ready to go. Head, yep, there we go. That's the one. And over to our creatures. And back to here. This is it. So these are the tables. These are incomplete, these tables. They are still in the test phase. So we roll 3 times on a table of 100 subterranean creatures. We do not actually have 100. We have 50, but I've got a way of calculating this. So we roll for the head, the body, and the limbs. And I do have a template ready to go and fill out head, body, and limbs right here. This is exercise number 7. We'll see what we're going to get. And then let's go down to subterranean. This is flying. We don't want that. We don't want marine today. And we've got land. Subterranean. Okay. So if you do not have a percentile dice, just type in a number. It's fine with me. I know not everybody's going to have percentile dice floating around. I do have percentile dice in front of me, so I can roll if I need to. And I will. Because that's why I've got them. So yes, we have, as it happens, subterranean. We came up with this table. It's not quite 50. I'm short by 1 creature, but I've got a formula for figuring these things out. So we'll start off with the head and see what we get for our head. Subterranean creature or monster. And I've rolled an 11. An 11 is a cicada. This is going to be an interesting combination today. Cicada, that's that thing, that annoying thing that makes that horrible noise in summer. For me in New Zealand, that's when it usually comes out, the cicadas. They bury themselves in the ground and then they fly around. They're kind of like a cricket or a locust, I guess. Okay, so let's roll now for the body and see what we get. I am going to roll, and what do I get here? That looks like an 8. We're rolling quite low. Okay, a badger body. Well, that's interesting. Well, a badger body is just like a dog or a cat, isn't it? So we'll grab that one and pluck that and put that over here for our body. I think that's good. And then we'll badger body it. And then our limbs will be whatever I roll on this dice, unless of course somebody decides to start rolling some percentile dice. The 10-sided dice, people. Here we go. What did I get? I got a 40 and a 0, so that is 40. So 40 on here. where are we? 40 comes to a termite limbs. Okay, so that's going to be a weird combination. We wanted a weird combination. It's very AD&D. Right, paste. Termite. Okay, so now that we have our basic rundown of what our creature's like, we need to plug it in. We're going to plug it into some artificial intelligence AI art creation software. I've got Starry AI, and then we're going to build out and start rolling for special abilities, because I've got a table that's complete for 100 monster special abilities. This is where you use an action. It's the main thing they do. They have to actually consciously do it. We have 100 monster traits, which are always in effect. Okay, this is like swimming and flying and things like that, but there's 100 different ones here we can roll off on. We've got 100 monster motivations. It's complete as well, and 20 monster origins, which is complete as well, and then we also have 26 monster lair types, and that is complete as well. So these are already up on Patreon, and we'll be using them today. So let's start off with our creature. Let's go and do a creation. Oh, actually, I might just do a port over of some of the text so I don't have to do too much typing. And I just copy and paste some stuff. Okay, that's from last time. Okay, over here. So we're going to go art. We'll port this in. Okay, a monster with the head of a cicada, which is our first part of our monster body. We're not using a shark today. So we'll get rid of the shark. And go shark. It's gone, and the body of and it's not a water boatman, because we used to have we had a water boatman before, but we're not doing that. It's this time we're using a badger body. Not a honey badger body, but a badger body. Okay, all right, so we'll put that in there. The body of a badger. And the legs of a termite, I believe. Have we got it all correct? Yes, it is termite. Have I spelt termite correctly? Termite. Okay, a monster with the head of a cicada, with the body of a badger and the legs of a termite. So that's our first point. We're going to use the Hydra style to start with. We're going to bump up our runtime as far as we can. So it's going to be a bit expensive in terms of credits, but that's all right. I collect these things anyway. And then we probably aren't going to worry about changing this. I think we'll just keep it at portrait. And then we'll run a cycle on that, and we'll do a few different runs to see what we get. Okay, right. So first one, generating our first creature, and then we'll select a different style. We did Hydra. Now we'll do Lyra. It's Lyra style. Okay, it's going. Next, fantasy style. There we go. Fantasy style is running. We're not going to do cyberpunk because I don't have it. Portrait's kind of pointless. It'll just make it look like a person. Woolly, that just seems a bit silly. No, that's pro. Ink, yeah, ink punk isn't going to work. Abstract world won't work. Anime won't work. I found these don't really work very well. 3D art might. Sometimes we've got some all right stuff from there. So we'll run that one. And we'll do Argo and Argo 2. I've found Argo and Argo 2 to be less than stellar. In fact, quite often a complete waste of my time, but you never know with these things. It seems to be the worst one of them all. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that shortly, and what we're going to do is we're going to start filling out our special abilities. So we're going to give it our special abilities, our monster traits, monster motivations, monster origins. Blimey, everybody in the chat today is very, very quiet. I was hoping to have a little bit more interaction from everybody, but that's all right. Okay, well, I'll do all the work. I've got dice. I've got my dice here, so I can do this. Not a problem. Okay. So we're going to roll for the next thing. So if you have percentile dice, this is the time to go grab them, people. Go grab those dice if you haven't got them. Otherwise, think of a number between 1 and 100 is probably a good idea. Okay? All right. So, next one. We want hashtag roll percentile dice for the monster motivation. Motivation. There we go. Hello, Derp. How are you? Derp is a patron, just as Fred Hubbard is. Thank you for being here. Got here late and missed the monster. Don't worry. Fortunately, my presentation on the Brobdingnagian is about 3 minutes. It's very, very short, so you will have no problems rewatching that section. It's more insect than mammal. Yeah, very much. Here, Philippe. We have a 38. Thank you, Philippe. Now we've got the dice rolling. Make it up a number. Roll some dice. I don't care. As long as I don't have to do all this stuff myself, it's always good. Okay, so hard skin. So this is its special ability. Hard skin. Skin hardens in response to physical trauma. Okay, do we want to have more than one special ability? Because this is certainly a very defensive ability, but do we want something that's offensive as well? So we could have more than one special ability if we would like. And I'm fine with doing that. You just need to say, yep, Fred, here's another number. And we'll roll again. Otherwise, we're going to be moving on to the trait. Or a furry insect. No problems. So feel free, if you want to have another special ability, to say, yes, special ability, roll. And this roll will come up with another number between 1 and 100. Because this table is 100. There's actually a couple of extras. I've put them down the bottom there as do not use, really. There are certain things that you add to a monster to just make them a little bit much. Anyway, one more. Here we go. 62. Philippe has got us a 62. What have got, Philippe? Philippe has got us possession. Oh my gosh, this is interesting. This is very strange. The spirit of the monster takes control of a living body. So this, what we will do is we will change this a little bit and make it more like a parasite. Because this is kind of designed around the ghost. So we're not going to do that. I think we're going to make this like a parasite. Possession. Do I have one called parasite? I do not remember as a special ability. It may be pest, parasitic. No. We're going to possession. So the spirit of the monster takes control of a living body. Maybe we'll keep it that way. Maybe we won't go parasite. Maybe we can make this work a little bit differently. This is actually kind of interesting. So let's do a monster trait. I picture it being fluffy and silent, and then threatening furry. Right, yeah. Okay, so let's do a trait. Hashtag roll a percentile dice for the monster trait. Okay, like a mind flayer. Yes, yeah, like a mind flayer. We could do it like that, but maybe we're going to do something else. Possession. The mind of the monster takes control of a living body. And I think this is the key here. I'm tempted to change this from spirit to mind. The mind and spirit. Maybe we add both in. Of the monster takes control of a living body. It's fun. Isn't this fun? Okay, let's see. We've got some numbers coming through. All right, Derry and Philippe has rolled as well. So let's go have a look at our monster traits. And starting with 79. 79, we do have a 79 here. Here we go. Silence, this is interesting. The creature dampens sound around it in a specific radius. So, I'm fine with that. Let's do that. Let's go copy it. We'll drop it in to our monster trait. Do we want to take 2? Since we've got 2 people suggesting stuff, maybe we give it 2. Mind sounds better, then we'll go with mind. We'll take out spirit. The mind of the monster takes control of a living body. That's what we're trying to deal with here. Good. Sweet. Similar range. Our dice are attuned. Maybe. Now, we might add in another trait. Let's see what 81 gives us. Now, that's not a trait. That's special abilities. Okay, trait 81. Slimer. Constantly oozes mucus, allowing it to slide along surfaces quickly. I think we'll leave it. I think we've got enough. I think silence and putting in Slimer is going to be too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll for our monster motivations, and I'm going to take the number that Derry's given me, 81. That should be fine. Other people, if you want to roll dice, you can, because we're still got a few more dice to roll. So roll a percentile dice for the monster motivation. Motivation. There we go. And okay. I find when we're making monsters this way, it's best not to get too carried and roll too many times and wind up with too many monster traits and too many monster special abilities. Lean into the main things, right? Bleach, slimy, fur is gross. Yeah, yeah, sliming and fur doesn't work for me. So we had an 81 from you, Mr. Derry. Let's have a look. Self-defense. The monster is trying to protect itself from predators and harm. It was a pretty basic motivation. Nothing wrong with it. So let's take this and we'll plug it in and put it under motivations. And we'll paste it here. Here we go. So, how's this all going to come about? I don't know. I have no idea. So we're going to do 2 more rolls. We're going to have to do a monster origin. A monster origin means that we have to use a 20-sided dice this time. So that's a number between 1 and 20. Hashtag. Roll a D20 for the monster origin. Okay, so our monster origin table looks like this. We made 20 of these up a little while back. We have the accent, the artificial intelligence, the alien, bitten, crossbreeding, created by gods, curse, evolution, immortal, imagination, created by imagination's fun. Magical experiment, we've had the experiments and the accidents quite a lot recently. Nightmare, resurrection, science experiment, we've had that quite a bit. Toxic waste, we had that one not long ago. Tragedy, transformation, viral infection, virus, electronic, and then we had wish. So there's a couple here. So yes. So derp 3, number 3, alien. Okay, alien. The monster travelled from outer space to the world. We had an outer space alien one not so long ago. So let's take that. It's a teddy bear. It's all right. Were you trying to, Derry, were you trying to put in the number 4 or the number 2? You'll have to tell me. I'm kind of curious now. We have been able to include 2 different types of origins and sort of mesh them together, and it's worked out all right in the past. It really depends. Is that what you were supposed to type in? Were you trying to type in the number 4 or the number 2, or did you go with a percentile dice roll rather than a 20-sided dice roll? Because there are only 20. What we found is when it comes to origins for monsters, you can't get that wide a spread. Other things, it's easy. But we have Derp putting in his number. I rolled prematurely. That's all right. That's all right. So I'm about to tell you what the next thing is in a second. So we're going to go with alien. It's alien it is. Alien it is today. So next one is our monster lair. So this is where it usually hangs out. We have 26. So the problem with 26 is how do you roll for 26? So I'll explain. Hashtag roll a d20 or roll a d20 plus d6 for the monster layer. Okay. So this will give us a monster layer. So you either pick up a 20-sided dice and just roll that, so you'll be only selecting from 1 to 20. Otherwise, if you want to go from right up to 26, you can be rolling a 6-sided dice and a 20-sided dice, add the two numbers together, and that will give us a number between 2 and 26, and it will exclude number 1. Okay? Roll 2 D. No. 2. There's no. I don't have a 13. There is no 13 dice. Oh, maybe if you're playing Dungeon Crawl Classics, might have a D13. I don't expect people to have a D13. So that's why I'm saying roll a 6-sided dice, roll a 20-sided dice, or just roll a 20-sided dice. Okay? 18. Derp, thank you very much. What do we get? Mountain Peak. We're going to stick it on a mountain peak. Interesting. Copy. So that's it. That's the one. We'll put it there. So we'll plug that into our layer. A little bit of so there's a few questions we have to answer, but we're not going to do that just yet. What we're going to do instead is, since we were working with subterranean monster or creature, we're going to go subterranean as our environment, and we might have a bit more information to go with that, but subterranean, we'll go back to that in a second. Let's have a look and see what we have our software has drawn for us. I do not expect miracles on this one. It's a monster, right? Monsters can come out pretty wacky. The furry insect landed on a mountain peak closer to the cold of outer space. Right, well, that's Derry. That kind of works, doesn't it? It's subterranean and it's on a mountain, so it's going to have to be inside a mountain peak. Yeah? Mountain peak. So the inside a cave. Inside a cave at the summit of a mountain or ridge that has a cold climate. We have now solved our monster lair problem, because it needed to be something like that, and it's from outer space. So, yes. And it likes the cold, because it's from outer space. There we go. All right, let's have a look and see what we get from our drawings. Ooh, is anything, that's still in progress, that's still in progress, that's still going, that's still going. Did we work too fast? That doesn't know what it's doing. Let's do a refresh on this page and see if what we get, who knows. Okay, it's drawn everything. We've got some wacky things going on here. I think it's got a little confused. How did we get a badger head, and whatever's going on with the body, I do not understand. That is some really messed up stuff. Okay, so it's like a yeti flea. Well, possibly. Who knows? Let's have a look at the first one, shall we? I wouldn't hold up much hope. This just looks like a bee, if you ask me, that's standing on its on two legs. This just looks like a fluffy bug. It's another bug. Doesn't look that happy. It's like a fly. So there's not much we can do with these. I wouldn't call these interesting in the slightest. I'm going to delete this. Complete waste of our time. Complete waste of our time. It didn't really do what we wanted here. So let's try again. It's a monster that lives on a monster. Fantastic. You slayed the Yeti and now you are itchy. Maybe that's actually not a bad idea. As it happens, Derry, we could do that. Let's have a look. So we've got a I guess a termite, a cicada, and is this supposed to be a badger? But they haven't combined it. Well done. Okay, this is a little lost too. I don't think that's going to work. I don't know what is going on here. I think the problem is it doesn't understand how to include a badger body with the insects part of it. So we've got this going on. And that's, it's kind of got like a badger body, but really it's a giant horrible mess. So yeah, I'm not a fan of any of these at present. I don't know what to make of this. This is pretty bad so far. Let's try the next one. This looks rather hilarious. So I don't know how this is going to work. Maybe it's the prompt I've written in just doesn't work in terms of the combination. So we've got a badger head. We've got like a insect body. I don't know what's going on behind it, and some legs that are they supposed to be of a termite or a cicada. I guess it's a termite. I'm not sure. It's weird. Whatever's going on there. Like, what's the next one? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, it's definitely monstrous, but also confused. We've got a couple of extra eyes on the sides here. It's trying to include the cicada wings, isn't it? It's got the cicada wings at the back on the head. Is that it? Is that what a cicada looks like? And yeah, okay, all right. Next. No, I say no to you. Next. My God, I think that's it. You're going to have 3 eyes. So it's got a cicada head, it's got the badger body, and the termite limbs. And this thing is creepy as. I think that is much more what we're after. Well done. What was that? Well, that was just the fantasy style that they've used. I think that is the monster we're after. What have you got here, people? Bang on. I +1 vote for this one. In our Discord, I put my attempt at generating the monster. Did you derp? Okay. Well, it's supposed to look alien-like. Okay, it's fair enough. Let me go to Discord and see if I can find derp's version of the whatever the heck this thing is. I don't know what it is. You reckon it's perfect? You like this one? I think this is actually pretty good. Let's have a look at what derp has come up with. Discord, and we'll go over here. Oh yes, I see. There's something in here, and then under art. Oh my God. What do you think, people? I think that's pretty good. I feel like both of them have their heart in the right spot. It's definitely an alien creature, right? It's got the cicada head. It's got the badger body, which is fluffy, and it's got the termite legs, which are just don't seem to fit right. There's something completely wrong about the whole thing. Okay, so let's say this is definitely not too bad, pretty good, and we'll keep the one that we have generated here as well. This is not too bad too. I like the idea there's 3 eyes rather than just 2. That makes it even more alien. Does anybody remember War of the Worlds? And the aliens from Mars had 3 lenses or 3 eyes. They didn't have 2 eyes or 4 eyes. They had 3 eyes. So it's kind of interesting, actually. So let's do the next one. Let's have a look at what else we've got here. This here looks more like a frog, or is it a lizard head? It looks like a lizard head and a insect body. It's basically an insect. I don't think there's much going on here that's that interesting. I don't know what that is supposed to be. It's funny though. It's kind of, what is it? It's like a rodent that's got antlers. It is. It's a rodent that has antlers. Yeah. So Derp did a very nice job of coming up with something. Anyway, let's keep looking through these. Oh, that's ridiculous. It's tried to go with a badger head, hasn't it? And it's too wrong. This is a rodent with antlers, and this This is just another insect. And this isn't right either. So I think we'll ditch these. And we'll move on. Oh, the last two, I do not hold out too much hope for them, but we will try. Terrible. What a mess. What a mess. Next. No, no, no. I say no to you. Next. I don't know what's going on here. It certainly looks very alien, but it just looks confused. So let's ditch this one as well. And that. I think these are terrible. These are awful. Like, they're going. We can't use that. That's not what we were after. This one, last one. No. Okay, they have not been able to figure out how to combine them. This is a mess. This is a mess as well. And that is a horrible mess. Okay, so that is a bust as well. So we got one attempt, I think. And I kept this one because, why did I keep this one? I wasn't too sure if we were going to get anything that was going to be even remotely useful. But I think this one is a bust as well. I think we can establish that there was only one choice. And the one choice is this mother. Or Derp's attempt, which is this mother. Ta-da! Okay, we have created a conceptual drawing. It is not the drawing, it is a conceptual drawing. Remember, AI art is fine for your home game, but I consider this a conceptual drawing. Not the drawing, not the image as such. Just giving us an idea from our description, which was very basic. Okay, so next, I will expand this, make this a little bit larger so we can actually see what's going on. So cicada head, badger body, termite limbs, special abilities, hard body, skin hardens in response to physical trauma, which is an interesting idea. Possession, the mind of the monster takes control of a living body, of another living body. So it's like mind control. Silence, the creature dampens sound around it in a specific radius. And we have self-defense. The monster is trying to protect itself from predators and harm. Right. Monster origin. It is a monster traveling from outer space to the world. Okay. And its current lair is inside a cave at the summit of a mountain ridge. It has a cold climate. Cool. We're doing well. Yeah, Derps is pretty good. The one from yours is how people think it looks. The derp one is what is the encounter. Hello, Pale Rider. How are you doing? I just got here. Is that ex-girlfriend monsters? No, we're not doing that. Okay, let's do a reproduction. How does this thing reproduce? How does the monster reproduce? Hashtag. How does the monster reproduce? Reproduce. That's our first question we need to answer. For those of you who are wondering what the heck does the monster look like, it either looks like that or it looks like this. Okay? Cicada head, badger body, termite limbs. So have a think about this. How would you go about it? We could go with, what's the cicada or termite reproduction cycle? We could go with something like that. That might be fun. I need one of these things, otherwise I'm not going to get through this. What have you got here, Derry? Parasitic possession feature, I think, means maybe it doesn't yet know that it's harming the host. Maybe. But I do like your idea of calling it parasitic possession. Let's do that. Parasitic possession. The mind of the monster takes control of another living body. Like that. I think we need to add a little bit more to this, so I'm going to put a little question mark here. I feel like there's something else. It lays several thousand eggs in a clutch, and the babies fight until one is alive. Then the parents put a lot of care into raising it. Oh my god. Is it like pods? Well, I think we're going to do a combination of both your ideas. How's that sound? I think that's a nice way to put this. Let's combine Derp's and Pale Rider's idea. The monster lays several thousand pods, eggs. A pod, egg, eggs, and a clutch, and the babies fight till only one is alive. What a brutal way to exist. So, several thousand eggs, and it's just a big old rumble. So I think this is going to work. We need to have its food source next. What is it going to eat? Hashtag. I think the other thing we need to establish is this is asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction? Asexual or sexual? I don't think we could do that. The problem is that there would not be that many, right? I think we're going to have asexual reproduction. And they lay eggs. Because if you don't do it that way, there just isn't going to be enough of them around to actually reproduce. So you really need every member of the species reproducing, because there won't be that many. Okay, so, hashtag. What does the monster eat? Not stereo. What does the monster eat? Yeah, I think we go with asexual. Just because if you're going to have, like I said, several thousand eggs in a clutch and the babies fight till one is still alive, there's just not enough of them. When you have, the coupling of two creatures, you need to have a wide spread of diverse genetic material for this to take place. Otherwise, a species like this would just die off really fast. Food, fear, feeds on psionics, fear or dread. Okay. Feeds on psionic fear. Do we have another tofu? Soybeans. How do we get tofu soybeans? But they are far spread by the squirt and crawl under. Infectious bloodsuckers. Oh, okay, all right. Blood and flesh. Is that what it is? Well, based off its biology, if you have a look at its biology, right, there isn't really much of a mouth going on, so it's probably got a little probe thing. So, yeah, meat's probably not a food source for it. But blood makes sense. Blood would work. Soya bean juice. I don't know. That's an odd one. Lives on the vibrations, hence the localization, silence effect. Hence it causes itching and drafting. Which is more powerful, sonic, and I think itchy. I'm so lost by that dairy. You reckon vibrations feeds on sonic fear. Well, it's taking over somebody else's mind, controlling them. So let's do a combination of this, actually, now that I think about it. Feeds on emotional fear, and absorbs psionic energy. Okay. Rotten fruit juice. It's a fruit fly, isn't it? I think we're talking about a fruit fly now. Okay, what are the monster's senses? Feeds on adrenaline. Adrenaline, eh? You'd have to suck it out of the brain, would you not? Sounds terrible. Let's do that. Next, we need to give it some senses. Hashtag. What are the monster's senses? I think based off what we have here, I think we're dealing with a compound eye, an insect-like compound eye. So let's say that's one of the things. Compound eyes. Psionic senses. Okay. So what would it be doing? How would it do that? Well, it's got these funny things here, or we've got some antennae things going on over here. Let's do something. Let's do a combination here. So ears or antennae. Antenna. Sense. Psychic waves. Extrasensory smell. Okay. Extraordinary smell. Okay. So it's got a very good... So what is its eyes doing? Just for looking fearsome, which causes fear to feed on. Compound eyes emit a what is it? There's a So compound eyes emit a, say, psychedelic. Emit a psychedelic pattern that causes fear. Okay. Like the ear, but not confusion. We're dealing with fear. Okay. All right. What else do we have here? The hair on its body is used to sense the vibrations in the air and ground. So those hairs are very, very super sensitive, so they can detect things. Yeah, we've got a mind sense, we've got a tremor sense going on here. Yeah, Derp, I think that's what we're doing here. Ears or antennae sense psychic waves. So, are we saying it can read minds? The mind sense that can detect a creature's thoughts and feelings. A little bit like Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. There we go. I think we've got that nailed down pretty well. Nice Bale Rider. Okay. Subterranean, cold, outer space. Outer space. Couple of different locations. We need a communication method. We're almost to the end of this little sucker. Then we're going to give it a name. We are at top of the hour too. But I think we'll keep going. How does it... Empathy, telepathy. How does the monster communicate? I almost feel like it's got to be telepathy. I don't think there's anything else we could use. I don't know what you think, but based off what we've got so far, this thing, Derp's version, the version that I've got drawn up here, I'm getting the impression that we're dealing with a creature that's probably communicating not... There's nothing sort of to scratch against or anything like that. It's not really going to be making noises with the mouth, I guess. It probably doesn't have it. It probably has a little probe, sucks things out that way. I'm thinking telepathy is probably the best way to go based off that. I don't know what other people think, but that would be my first go-to point, is like, let's just do that one. Let's go here. And specific radius. I'm not going to specify what the radius is right now. I don't think that's necessary. Yeah. So we're just looking for... So we've got our sensors, we've got our food sources. I'm not sure how this is supposed to work. Yep. And then we've got to have a communication style, which I think should probably be telepathy myself. Or ESP or something like that. It's very alien, right? So that would make sense. its relationship with other creatures is going to be the interesting question, I have to say. Right now, I'm like, that could be a lot of fun. Anybody got any ideas? Let's just see if I look here to see if my chat is actually keeping up with me. Oh, no, it's keeping up. Well, that's good. I'll just refresh it then. People are just stuck then. So let me see if I throw a few ideas out there and see what sticks. Telepathy. Communication style. Okay, so we've done clicks and whistles. How does a termite communicate? How does a cicada... Cicadas actually have a chirping noise, don't they? Chirping might actually be a good idea. We could use that. A chirping sound. Chirping sounds. Oh, nice. How about chirping sounds from its flute-like probe? Chirping sounds from its flute-like probe. I can't remember what it's called. Let me see if I can find it. What is it? Flies eat with a... What is it? They suck their food up. Straw-like tongue. Oh, okay, this is a tongue that comes out. We don't want it to be using its tongue. We want to... So there's another way that you can do this, right? What about a... Oh... Can I find this? Chirping, 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 chirping. It's more like a slurping noise otherwise. Slurping. I lick I lick to communicate. Licking noises. Next, paste. What do they eat with? Cicadas feed only on plant sap using their piercing, sucking mouthpiece. Okay, they have a piercing, sucking mouthpiece. Mouth probe. Let's go with the flute-like communication thing. Song-like language. I actually like that. I have a little niece, and all she... Look, there's a couple of things she does. My niece is either talking, or if she's not talking, she's whistling. Constantly whistling. And if she's not whistling, she's singing little songs. That's what she does. So let's go back to this, and let's incorporate some of this into here. Chirping and whistling sounds. Sounds from a flute-like probe. The monster's language is like a song. Okay. That's very, very clever. It sings to each other. It's literally singing. I kind of like that a lot. We might include telepathy as well, because don't all aliens have telepathy? They all can read your mind. But yes, monster's language is like a song. That's quite cool. Awesome. Next, let's deal with the monster's relationship. Hashtag. The monster's relationship with other creatures. Probably not going to be great, but we do need to establish what it is, right? So far we're dealing with, let's get rid of this. This is what it looks like. Derp's version that I have. That's what it looks like. And it is head of the cicada, body of a badger, limbs of a termite. Hard body is one of its special abilities. The skin hardens in response to physical trauma, kind of like the starfish. Parasitic possession. The mind of the monster takes control of another living body. Silence. The monster trait. The creature dampens sound around it in a specific radius, which is kind of interesting. Monster motivation. Self-defense. The monster is trying to protect itself from predators and harm. Alien. So its monster origin is alien. The monster travels from outer space to the world. So it's from outer space. We have an outer space monster. Its current lair is a mountain peak inside a cave at the summit of a mountain or ridge that has a cold climate. So this is where they normally take up residence. And it's asexual reproduction because we need it to be able to do that. Otherwise it's not going to work very well. And the monster lays several thousand eggs in a clutch, and babies fight till one is alive. So yeah, the casualty rate's quite high. Its food source is it absorbs psychic energy, feeds on emotional fear, soya bean juice, I guess. Soya bean juice, blood, and adrenaline. Okay, so that's a terrible thing to think, like how it's going to get the blood and the adrenaline out of the body, but it's probably going to be using a probe, right? Monster senses. Compound eyes emit a psychedelic pattern that causes fear. Ears or antennae sense psychic waves. Mind sense it can detect a creature's thoughts and feelings. Extraordinary smell. The hairs on the body are used to sense vibrations in the air and ground. Since it's subterranean, we've got all that covered, and we've got our communication style. We've just got the monster relationship, and then we've got to give it a name. And my phone does not want to catch up with me, so I might have to jump back over to the live feed on my desktop so I can see what's going on and see if anybody's come up with some ideas. Right now, I don't think its relationship's going to be great with anybody. Parrot. It can use its sucker like a flute to communicate with... Did it not go in? Oh, I just haven't typed it in. That'll be what it is. It uses Tinder. Right. Nice. Hashtag. What relationship does the monster have with other creatures? Let's try this again. I did type this in on my phone and it did not come through. I'm noticing, which is a bummer. Okay, it's come through on the chat. Cool, I can see it on my desktop now. Kind of interesting how this voting went. So we eventually did go subterranean with a few more votes. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, tongues is definitely appropriate, but we've got a flute-like probe that we can use for making whistling and chirping noises through, so we can do it that way. Make a little song. Anybody got any ideas? I'm kind of curious. Based off what we have got so far. A Okay, let me just update this, and I'll have another drink of water before I have to keep going. Okay, drink of water. All right, so I guess I'll be throwing out a few ideas of my own. Let's have a look. Termites aren't particularly... nothing really particularly like cicadas or termites. What would be your first? I mean, also we have to decide on how big it is. It's hostile to most, but it's friendly to harpies. Why is it friendly to harpies? It's hostile to most other creatures. Okay, let's type that down. Let's get that in. I can hear the little whistler again. Hostile to most other creatures. Well, it is like a parasite, and things tend to be, yeah. The monster is viewed as a pest. I see. Hostile to most other creatures unless they sing songs. Now that, we're going to widen that up. I actually kind of like that. That's quite fun. Let's put that in there. But it would be generally viewed as a pest, right? Because it feeds off your psychic energy, sucks your blood, your adrenaline out of your brain. It's doing all sorts of horrible things. It's stealing your soybean juice. Creates fear. So, yes. I think that's a reasonable combination. We need a name for this silly thing, though, don't we? We need to actually name this thing. We need to give it a name that's appropriate for what we have. Hashtag. What is the name of the monster? All right, this is where we start having a bit of fun. You guys are going to have, I'm sure, a bunch of fun. Again, I will share the image so those of you who are here can see it, and I'll talk about it briefly. Okay, and then we'll see what people come up with, and hopefully we get a nice big list of crazy ideas. That's the hope. So this is one of the images we have of this creature. Here's another version of it. Okay, and I give you a breakdown of basically all of its different features and how it works. It works this way. It has hard skin. Okay, its skin hardens in response to trauma. It's got a parasitic possession, so it uses its mind to take control of another living body or being. It can create silence. It dampens the sound in a radius around it. Which is an interesting way on how that's working. I guess we could say antennae or ears would do that. Ears are supposed to, apparently ears aren't just, and I didn't realize this until I'd done biology, ears certainly detect sound, but they can also emit sound. I did not realize that an ear is capable of emitting sound. Not all ears emit sound, but they are capable of emitting sound. Much to my surprise. It's a very, very low frequency or high frequency or something like that. But yeah, who would have guessed? They're not just for detecting sound waves. Okay, self-defense. The monster is trying to protect itself from predators and harm. That's its motivation. We've got our monster special abilities and traits. Monster origin. It's an alien. It's traveled from outer space. Its monster lair is currently a mountaintop inside a cave at the summit in the cold climate. Its reproduction is asexual because there aren't too many of them, because the monster lays several thousand eggs in a clutch, but they all have to fight to the death until there's only one left. It absorbs psychic energy, feeds on emotional fear, soybean juice, blood, adrenaline. Monster senses compound eyes emit psychedelic pattern that causes fear. Ears or antennae sense psychic waves. Mind sense they can detect a creature's thoughts and feelings. Extraordinary smell. The hairs on the body are used to sense vibrations in the air and ground, because that's what hairs are often used for. Subterranean, cold, outer space, that's its environment. We've got a communication, which is chirping and whistling sounds from its flute-like probe, and the mouth probe. Okay, mouth probe. The monster's language is like a song, and it has telepathy in terms of communication. Relationships we've already established. Okay, so let's have a look in terms of what sort of names people have come up with so far. Pale Riders presented the first idea. Mags, you're laughing. Why are you laughing? I'm really concerned when I see a name put down and you're laughing. There's something going on here. What do you know that I don't? All right, let's go here. Copy. I'm going to do a little search on the internet to find out why he's laughing so hard. Oh, I don't like the look of this. Mother Teresa? What? What's going on here? What have you done? Mother Teresa, non-profit organisation. I am so lost. 8 other people coming. Come on, people. I'm going to come up with some names if other people can't come up with some names. Don't you worry. I will figure out another way of calling this something. Let's see. It's kind of cicada-like. It's like termite-like. And it's like a badger. Let's try... a Sidiger. A Sidiger? Can we get with can we get with a Sidiger? A Sidiger. No, that's not what I want. No, that's a cigar. I want a Sidiger. Oh, you undo it. Undo that. Naughty. A Sidiger. What else have we got here? Combinations of names. Well, yes, what would the common folk call it? Or what would the elite people call it? I don't know. You tell me. A termidor? I don't know. What does it look like? Termidor. Jeez. None of those are really sort of... Sidiger is probably the closest to what I'd consider it. Next, let's do another name. Another combination. Back to our image of our creature. Brain sucker beetle. Brain sucker beetle, eh? Brain sucker beetle. We have the... What do you got here, dearie? I'm a little lost on that one, Derry, but it's down. There's an idea. Let's have a little search of this. Copy. And plug this in here. Paste, paste, paste. A thrum's an instrument, especially a strolling. Ah. It's like a singing creature too, isn't it? What about a singmite? A singmite. It almost is. It's almost a singular, but singmite. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got a few names here. Psi badge. Oh, what's going on here? Psi badge. Car sapper. Okay. Kai bitch. Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Car sapper. Car rumper. Okay, we've got quite a few names here. It's more about now which one stands out. We probably need to determine how large is this creature. Like, how large do you think we make this creature? Is it small? Is it like small size? Is it tiny? Is it medium size? Is it the size of a human? Is it the size of a cow or a horse? What? Okay. All right. Okay. I've got a little bit of a. Let's. What have you put in here, Derry? What have you up to? Let's have a look. Paste. Okay, so let's get rid of this. I think I've established halfling to man size. Okay, small to medium size. So we're dealing with a creature that's small to medium. Small to medium size. Okay. That's what we've established. Right now, where was I with this? A contact team sport played between two teams of several players. Oh, is this where you've got it from? Okay. Yeah, okay, all right. I see what's going on with this one. And what's the other word that you had in here? Let's do this. Let's go copy. And just drop this in here. No. Completely. What's the word sapper mean? Let's try the word sapper. And there. Paste. sapper. A soldier who does jobs such as building bridges, repairing roads, laying and clearing minefields. Ordinary. A sapper's dug saps or trenches to undermine the walls or fortifications. Oh, I see. That's where you've got it from. No problems. But you can be back in a bit. I think we've got a few reasonable name selections here for this creature. I think what we will do so far, since we've got a bunch of them, I think the ones that stand out the most for me is the ones that are pretty simple. The ones that have got really unusual names are just too much. Brainsucker Beetle is not bad. Brainsucker is probably fine. The Singmite is mine. I don't mind that. A Thrumper, I would call it a Thrumper. That's not a bad idea. I don't know that I would call it the other part of it, but the Thrumper, I might go with that. Yes. So I think we've gone as far as we can with this. I think we've got all of the bits and pieces we need for it. A little bit of adjustment needs to be done. Obviously, if we wanted to have a stat block for it, we'd have to make a stat block for it. I'm not going to be doing that today. But I think that's not too bad. And as in terms of what it's going to be finally called, well, I did that with the last one. If you might remember, we made like a shark, octopus, squid-like creature with a water boat body, and that went down really well. I think that actually worked out quite well. And in the end, I asked people what they thought should be called, and we actually decided that that creature should actually be called a Sharktopus. Now, I know that there's a movie called The Sharktopus, so maybe it will not remain the Sharktopus, but it seemed very appropriate at the time, the Sharktopus. So I think it worked out quite well, sort of decide ultimately what the name of the creature would be, so we might do that again for this creature as well. So I'll plug these in tonight into a poll, and we'll see what people have to say. I think that's probably the best way to go about this, and that will be another monster or creature we've created. Very odd one, a very, very strange one, but hey, whatever works, whatever works. So we're going to wrap it up. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be building I think it's a wizard for Pathfinder 2nd edition, which means we must be getting very, very close to returning to Back Me Dungeons and Dragons, or basic Dungeons and Dragons character creation. I am hoping that I have it together. There's no guarantee that I'm going to be successful at that sort of thing. I've built a few characters so far, but is it enough? That's the real question. But anyway, we have covered the Brobdingnagian, and we've created our own monster for today, and I think this is a good place to stop. So huge thank you to all of the patrons who support me on Patreon. I do appreciate it. Hey, thank you for doing so. This is why this live stream actually exists. A big thank you to Esper the Bard for providing me with the artwork, the material, and the physical book, and supporting me in doing this. He's been quite all right with me doing some creative adjustments, so that's always nice too. Thank you very much, Esper. And I want to thank you for taking part in the poll if you have today, just watching or listening, suggesting your ideas. Huge thank you for those people who've taken part, otherwise it's just not possible. So, Pale Rider, Derry, we had Derp here as well, and I believe we also had Fred Hubber. Hasn't been a lot of people in the chat today, but those of you who have been here helped really move things along. Otherwise, we kind of got stuck. Philippe, I believe Philippe also provided a bunch of ideas. Got the ball rolling with the dice rolls, which is great. Hey, thank you for doing that. And Fred Hubber was here, right? Okay. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours, and hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.